Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we'll Masechtas Bava Basra daf Kuf Samach. We are going to begin on Kuf Samach Amad Aleph. I'm saying it with a little bit of a smile. The longest Masechta in Shas, and here we are finally in the last parak. It says the Mishnah. It says the Masechta. Get Poshet. We're going to see there are certain types of documents. This is called a get Poshet, a simple regular get as we know it. Edom b'tocho, the witnesses sign at the bottom of the get inside, but there's also something called a makusher, in which Edom me'acharav, the witnesses will sign on the outside, on the back of the document. Now the truth is, when we say the word get, it doesn't necessarily refer to only a get, as we know it, a divorce document. So Rashbam says, "V'chol shtaris kriyin get." The truth is, whenever we say the word get, it could be referring to a document in general. Here we're talking about all different types of documents. The din is, there could be a document which is poshet, a regular one, and then there's one which is makusher, literally tied. So the Rashbam explains, and we'll see much of this Rashbam now. Kosev shita, you write a line, umaniyah chalak, and you leave an open line, kashir shita haksuva, just like that amount of space that was written. The kaifla al chalak, and you double over the open area, the taifer, and you sew it up. Yacha kaisev shita, then you write a second line. Umaniach shita chalak, again you leave another blank line. The kaifla al chalak taifer. The chein harbe, you keep doing this. You write one line, the next line is blank, and you fold it up. You fold it and fold it. And that's how you do it. Today. Mokum Tairif Hashtar up until the Tairif Hashtar. So when we're dealing, as we're going to see as well toward the bottom next Amud, that when we're dealing with the Taifus, that's the basic section which is actually left unfolded. So this we're talking not about the Taifus, but the Tairif. So the Tairif is that which we're referring to. So that is what a person continues to do. And the witness will actually sign on the outside of the back of the document. The Gemara is going to explain. It has to be that you cannot have the knots or the tying more than the amount of witnesses. As it's brought down Masechtas Gittin, the Havile Kereach, it's considered to be a bald get. The Taifus shall start kosev kul ke'in poshet. As I said, the tafos, which is the regular part, that is written regularly. It's not folded. That's what's called the poshet part of the makusher document, because no one folds that up. That's just the regular part. The elu hakfelos kol kefel v'kefel b'fnei atzmo. Each one is by itself. The niru mebachutz. Ben kefel kain keses a cipher kazet. You have this picture on the side. Okay, let's continue now in the Mishnah. So pashet shekosav edom me'acharov or makusha shekosav edom me'batoicho shneim sulim. It has to be done as prescribed. However, if you have a regular, we'll call it a get, and the signatures are on the back of the document, it's not good. If you have a get makusher and it's signed where it's metocho, that the signatures on the inside, it's not good. Actually, if it's a get makusher and you wrote it so with the signatures on the inside of the document, it's still okay. You can just unravel everything, and all of a sudden it's just like a regular document. It maybe all have a bunch of creases in it, but still now it's a get poshet. Which we'll see what exactly that's referring to in the Gemara. Fine. And then the Mishnah tells us another distinction. Get poshet edom b'shnayim. When it comes to a regular document, you need two witnesses. At the minimum, we need to have three. As the Rashbam again said, it's totally an amount of foldings. If let's say a regular document, you only have one signature, one witness, and makusha shekasabo shneim is only two, shneim psulim. Again, you have to have at least two or three, respectively. Okay, let's look at question 14. Elu beis davarim husker besugin deika bein pashel u'mekusher. So pasha edim shnayim mekusher shloisha, pasha edim elteicha mekusher me'acharav. Okay. And that's basically all we need for question 14. And we'll see the opposite direction, question 13 in a second. So the Gemara asks a question. Min hanimili. So how do we know, and of course there's all these Taisus in over here we're skipping, but I and Taisus. Min hanimili. So how do we know that there's two different types of shtaros that have totally different dinim, different halachos? So where do we find this anywhere in the Torah? So Omer Rav Chanina, the pasuk says in Yirmiyah, "Sodas b'kesef yiknu." So because of a sefer, and it says because of a sefer v'chosum, v'aid edim. So what is this pasuk? So sodas b'kesef yiknu, fields with money you should acquire. Because of a sefer, and you should write onto a document as we continue to kuf samach amid beis. Zeh poshut. That's as Rashbam says, kain sefer. It's like a regular document. V'chasoim zeh mekusher. Says Rashbam, because chasum is mashmas surur, it's mashmas bundled. Okay, so it's like a mekusher document. Va'ed shnayim edim is shloisha. Haketzad, which one is it? So shnayim will pashet shloisha mekusher. So ve'ed b'chana, how do we know which one requires the three witnesses? El mitayach shenisraba b'ksharav nisraba be'edav. Just pashet, because there's more requirements, says Rashbam, shehichmer bo hakasav hitriach lasos kishurin hichmer namin beribu edim. It makes sense if you have all these extra details referring to folds. Probably you need more witnesses. Rav and Amr Mahach gives a second answer. Also near me of ekach es sefer hamikne es a chasum. So mitzvah v'chukim v'es hagolui v'ekach es a sefer hamikne. So what is this referring to? So zeh poshet, because again it's a sefer, es a chasum, similar to what we said before. Zeh mekusher, it's a document which is mekusher. Ves a goloi, the open part, zeh poshet shibim mekusher. As we said, that even a mekusher document, there's part of it which is not folded, which is namely the typhus, which is the basic section which is left unfolded. Hamitzvah chukim il devarim shibim poshel mekusher. These are the different dinim. So haketzad zeh edom mishnayim. V'zeh edav shloisha, zeh edav b'toichai, v'zeh edav me'acharav. Ve'ipachana, how do we know what the laws are? Again, mitashnim nisraba b'ksharav, nisraba be'edav. So it's just logical that should be the din. So that's a second answer. A third pasuk, Rami bar Yecheskel Amar Mahacha. The pasuk says in the Torah and Sefer Devarim, al pi shnayim edim, al pi shloisha edim yakum davar, 2 or 3. So the famous kash in Masechtas Makos, seem to sky medus mishtayim lo b'prad locha b'shloisha. If you already can be mekayim the testimony with 2, so why does the pasuk say or 3? Shnayim will pashit shloisha mekusher. It's just telling you that there's different dinim. It's either 2 or 3 depending on what type of document it is. The epachana mitaysh nisrav b'kshav nisrav be'edav. V'hani in these psukim l'hachu da'asa kol chad v'chad lo milsehu da'asa. You brought 3 different psukim. None of them really are extra to teach us this din of a din mekusher. After all, look at the sanya. We need it for the first one is Sadas b'kesef yiknu because of a sefer chasum. We learn out, this is brought down many other places. It says it's done previously, it's going kedushin. Eitza taiva kamashmon. This is just telling you it's an eitza taiva, that if you're going to involve in selling properties, even though the truth is, as the Gemara in Kedushin says, you can be koine karka even with kesef. So why do you have to write it down? So it's a good idea, right? You should have proof, and it also says as a raya that's just it's a type of kamashmon over there. It says because it should put it into klicheres. Uman yimdu yomim rabim. I think that's something like the lashon. So why do we need to know that? So obviously it's a type. He's giving you good advice. The ekach hasefer hamikna hachi havi ma'isa. It's just saying that that's what it was. That was the instance. Al pi shnayim edim, al pi shloisha edim, l'hacha shloisha shnayim. The plug to the Rabbi Akiva Rabbanon. So over there, and the Rashbam doesn't help us with this. Apparently not. But it tells us that there's, in the Gemara over there, it doesn't want to say, because I think there's actually 4 answers to this question. Let me just think of a couple of them. It tells you that, like, when it comes to Dini Edi Hazama, if, let's say, you're Mazim 2, you have to be Mazim all 3. If there happen to be 3 witnesses, you're Mazim 2, and it'll say, well, that's enough. No, it has to be Mazim all of them. Alternatively, if one is a Karv or apostle, right, even if it's 3, okay. Other answers as well. Okay, so anyway, so therefore, those psukim, it's Makas Hey, Dav Hey, already used. So again, how do we know this din of a Makusher? A Makusher and a Rabbanon. The truth is, all these psukim, even though they seem to be hinting to a get Makusher, we're not going to learn there's a din deraisa by it, but it's a din de Rabbanon. The Rabbanon instituted this. So of a time of my taking Rabbanon Makusher. So why did they do this? Because Aser the Kani Havi, because if a city where there's Kohanim, Vahavi Kapti Tuva, the Megarshin is Shaihu. It used to be that there was a particular town that the men in that town who were Kohanim, they used to get upset quite easily. And this was something in which the Chachamim picked up on. They noticed this, and they wanted to divorce their wives. Says Rashbam, Kas shaget poshet nichta mehera. When it comes to writing a get poshet, it's poshet. It's simple to do, right? So they would end up divorcing their wives in a fit of anger. And here's the problem: they can't get remarried because Kohanim are not allowed to get remarried. Even if it's your own wife. Of course, a non-Kohen is allowed to remarry his wife, provided she didn't marry him in the interim. That's called Machzor Grushasai. However, just stop. If you get divorced, and then next day you change your mind, you guys decide to get remarried, it's fine. But not if you're Kohanim. They made it more difficult to get a divorce. And therefore, hopefully, by the time that this more difficult document would be created, they would have calmed down. So Atinach Gittin Shtaris Ma'ikameimor. So why is this by other documents? Kadeshul Techaluk being Gittin L'Shtaris. We don't make a distinction between them. Question 13. My time the tiknu get makosher matam b'shar shtaros. So get makosher tiknu mishum kohanim sheskar shemitay kasam v'nicham, and they'll end up not being able to get remarried. And shar shtaros kadeshul to make a distinction between one star and the next. Okay. All right, let's look at maybe a question. TA 24. So where do they sign? This is actually, we're going to see this now. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So Pashit, it says it's supposed to be Edav Macharov. Okay? But we need a little bit more than that. That's TA 24. So now the Gemara is going to actually ask this kasha. So we're going to get to that in a second. TB 25. Elu beis devarim huskru bepirkan dika ben poshel makusher. Right? Then in the question it says 3. It doesn't make any sense. So this is the same thing as question 4. Of course, this is straight in our mission. That's what I wrote. Beis edim b'poshet, gimel edim b'makusher, edim b'bifnim, edim b'chutz, zmanim shel hamelach enu shovin al ashtar. Okay, because that we'll see another time. But that's TB 14. At TB rather 20. 25. Okay, let's continue now. So now the Gemara is going to continue. A lot of papers over here. All right. Let me do this, actually. No more questions there. So, now the Gemara asks the question. Heichen Edim Chaisman. Okay, so where do the witnesses actually sign? So this is going to be the better source of TA 24, which is going to tell us machlokas. Rav Huna Oimer bein kesher lekesher, between each tying, which means by the empty line between the folds. Rav Yirmiyah baraba oimer achori haksav, ukeneged haksam mibachutz. So opposite the text. Okay. So Amalei Rami Bar Chama Rav Chisda. So he asked a question to Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda, Rav Huna, Diarmer Ben Kesher Kesher. According to Rav Huna, who says that it's Ben Kesher Kesher between these empty lines. So Kosach Daitin Ben Kesher Kesher Migavoy. We originally thought it meant from the inside where it's folded over. Avahu Makusher. There was a Makusher document to Kosach Kamei to Rabbi. The Amr Rebbe ein zman bezeh, and he said there's no zman on this document. So he asked this bitmia, as the Rashbam says, it was like a question. In zman bezeh, why is there no time on it? Rav Shimon beRebbe, Rebbe Shema ben Ksharav Muvla. Maybe there is a zman, but it's absorbed between the signatures, between the knots rather. So Pale, so he ripped it open. V'chazin, he saw. Navim Isa, if it's true, ein zman b'zeh ve'ein edem b'zeh b'boile. It should say ein zman b'zeh ve'ein edem b'zeh b'boile. Not there's no zman. He should have also said ein edem. In other words, if it was in fact that between each of the kesher there is the signature of the edem, so then how come he only questioned about the Zman? He should have asked a question about the Edom. It must be that that's not where the Edom sign. So Amrulay Misar ben Kesher Keshem Gavoy. Who told you it's from the inside? Lo ben Kesher Kesher Mavroy. It's actually from the outside. V'nechush Dilma Zayif. So now we ask the question. Okay, so what if it's there's a forgery? Because of Madaboy, the guy will write whatever he wants. V'chasimi Sahadi, and you already have signed witnesses on the top of the document. Dechsibbe Sharvakayim. So the Chasmi Sahadi. The answer is the Chasmi Sharvakayim. Once it says the word Sharvakayim, it's not shaykh to forge anything. In other words, because you can't write anything afterwards. Sharvakayim. V'nechesh Dilma Kosta Madaboy. He'll write whatever he wants. V'adar Kosta Sharvakayim. Achrina. He'll write Sharvakayim a second time. Right? There'll be a second one. No. Chad Sharvakayim Kasvinan. Trey Sharvakayim Lo Kasvinan. You can only write one. So if it says Sharvakayim twice, you know that there's something wrong with that document. Okay. V'lechesh Dilma Mochaklei with Sharvakayim. Maybe he'll just erase those words. The Kosta Madaboy. Write whatever he wants. V'hadar Kosta Sharvakayim. So, I'm Rav Yochanan Tluya. This is Tluya on the words of Rav Yochanan. Mikuyemes Kshera. If he verifies it, Rav Yochanan Tluya. This is the cipher has hanging letters. Mikuyemes Kshera. If you can verify it, then in fact it's kosher. As we continue to Kuf Samach Alf Amud Alf Mochuk. But if it's erased, it's puzzle. V'afal pi. Shemakuyim. Even though it's makuyim, even if let's say the sofer verifies it, we don't care. You're not allowed to have a document that's erased. If it's erased, it's not accepted. Says the Rashbam, Af mashim higialav, afal pi shemakuyim, even if it was verified. Can mafarish va'azul she'oiso hamachak b'seif shtar b'makam shayachal loimer shayikasu bo sharvakayim in that particular place. The whole issue of erasures is only there because we're concerned that a person may have erased it and wrote something else, then wrote Sharvakayim afterwards. However, Ukashir Sharvakayim, and also the Shir, says Rashbam, the Koshkin im Shir Mechak Yois Mezeh. Certainly if it's erased more than that amount. So therefore it's not something to be concerned about. Okay. Let's look at question 1. We're going to stop. And we'll see also TB26. So he said, B'makam sharvakayim, ukashir sharvakayim, o yoser. That measurement of space that's erased, because if that amount of space is erased, it's possible that you erased those words. which is the same question as TB 26. And I wrote, B'makom sharvakayim v'shir sharvakayim o yoser. Ad kan.